And I'd like to give a huge thanks and shout out to Rock's Auto Exchange for allowing me to come out here in McCordsville, Indiana and film the 2004 Cadillac XLR. Make sure you stop by their website, check out all their inventory. They have a great selection out here. All the contact information is on the screen below. Once upon a time, executives and engineers asked the infamous what if question and wondered, what if we dressed a Corvette up in Cadillac livery? Well, in 2003, that happened, and what we saw was something completely and unexpected from Cadillac. During that time, however, anything was possible since we saw extreme concepts, such as the mid-V12 engine scissor-doored supercar concept, the CN, and the Cadillac Evoque of 1998, of which the design language would eventually transfer to the upcoming XLR. Production for the XLR ran from 2003 to 2009 and supporting the 2004 to 2009 model years. In 2005, Cadillac introduced the high-performance XLR-V. Production of the XLR was alongside the C6 Corvette at the Bowling Green Assembly Plant in Kentucky, and as such, the XLR was heavily modified on the Corvette platform. However, neither car shared any body panels, suspension components, or engine. Styling was dramatic across every aspect of the XLR, and inside, coddled the driver and passenger. Hey everyone, in today's in-depth review we are taking a look at this very nice, very well equipped and very well preserved 2004 Cadillac XLR. This XLR is in light platinum silver metallic and it does feature the ebony leather interior. This will be a full in-depth review and its full pricing is shown on screen as well as the options listed in the description box below. We're going to cover over everything, mechanical, exterior, interior, top operation, and the like. I've been wanting to do an XLR for a long time, and now I finally been able to do it. And of course the XLR is based on Chevrolet's C6 Corvette. Alright, and of course the XLR is front engine rear wheel drive. It is powered by this 4.6 liter Northstar dual overhead cam 32 valve V8 engine. This engine is of aluminum block and head construction, and it does contain or feature variable valve timing, sequential multi-port fuel injection, and a 10.5 to 1 compression ratio. This engine creates 320 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 310 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM. And Car and Driver magazine tested their XLR from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.7 seconds. 0 to 100 miles per hour came in 13.3 seconds. With a quarter mile in 14.2 seconds at 100 miles per hour. Top speed on the XLR is limited to 155 miles per hour. And the XLR is equipped with an 18 US gallon fuel tank. It consumes 5.6 gallons per 100 miles driven, with an estimated driving range of 324 miles. EPA fuel economy figures are 15 miles per gallon city, 23 miles per gallon highway, and 18 miles per gallon combined. The sole available transmission in the XLR is this GM Turbo Hydromatic 5-speed 5L50E automatic transmission. It does feature driver shift control here by placing the vehicle or the transmission over to the left position of drive. The plus and minus lights up, and you can tap shift for upshifts and downshifts for manually controlling. Sadly, a traditional 6-speed manual like the Corvette was never offered on the XLR. It is even built at the same plant, the Bowling Green, Kentucky plant, as the Corvette. However, it offers a much different driving experience. Alright, and now let's put the top up. We'll take a look at the car with the top up now. Alrighty, and around the rear of the XLR, especially with the top up, it's a very chiseled look to it. Almost like a concept car, really. It does look like the CN and the Evoque, based on what it's designed after. But as you can see, it is a folding hardtop roof, something the Corvette did not offer. Sharp edges all the way down the tail lamps, which are LED, similar to that of the DeVille. And the rear end just carries standard Cadillac styling, really. Sharp, chiseled edges, very defined outlines. You have the Northstar V8 badge here. You have your rear backup lights in here inside the license plate surround. LED third brake light with the Cadillac wreath and crest. SiriusXM satellite radio antenna here. Ultrasonic parking sensors in the bumper. And these really nice inset dual quads. Alright, now that we've raised the top, let's take a look at the profile view here. Car looks exceptional with the hardtop in place. It does follow the distinct Roadster outline of long hood, short deck. Very nice hardtop placement. It is fully lined and insulated as well. Steering is power assisted via GM Delco's MagnaSteer, magnetorheologically assisted vehicle dynamics sensitive rack and pinion with 2.9 turns lock to lock and a 39-foot turning radius. Wheels are 18-inch chrome plated spun cast aluminum 7-spoke units shot in 235/50 ZR18 Michelin Pilot Sport 4S all season tires front and rear. Brakes are 4-wheel power assisted disc brakes with 12.8-inch vented rotors up front and 12-inch vented rotors in the rear. They are assisted by 4-channel ABS and StabiliTrak traction control. Alright, and up front, the XLR is probably its most striking in this view here. Very low slung, very sharp edged. One thing I like here is from the door mirrors, this line follows the entire length of the front fender here. Going straight into the xenon projector beam headlamps. You have your turn signals up top, headlamp washers, and of course down below you have fog lamps. Another really cool design element is the grille. Satin aluminum. Alright, before we get inside the XLR, let's take a quick look at the key fob. Similar to that of the Corvette, only an XLR format here. It is a smart key transmitter here. It's keyless remote. However, it does not have any kind of like smart key access or anything like that. It's just a wire or keyless remote entry. You have lock, unlock, and your trunk release. It says XLR here. And of course, it has the Bulgari logo in the center. Now to open the doors is actually easy. It's an electronic operation. There's a membrane switch inside this area here. Just press that just like you would in the Corvette. And of course, as you can see, the doors open wide into a very beautifully crafted and stunning interior. Taking a look down the door panels here. Much higher quality materials than used in the Corvette. There's really nice vinyl that looks like faux leather. Nice soft padded areas here on the armrest and the door panels. Eucalyptus wood. You have your electronic door release here. Lock and unlock, of course. Your driver's side air vent is on the door panel. Power mirror controls, power window controls, premium Bose audio, and a small amount of storage in the door pockets. And the door panels do flow nicely into the interior, where you'll find your heads-up display controls here for brightness and your height, and you can adjust the height of it. And down here, fuel door release, trunk release. And as stated before, the XLR never came with a manual transmission, so you only get 2 pedals in the footwell. We do have a leather and wood wrapped tilt and telescoping steering wheel. It is power tilt and telescoping adjustment. And the driver's seat does feature 2-driver memory with easy exit feature, 8-way power adjustments, and 2-way adjustable lumbar. You have you have the lower portion and the upper portion of the lumbar. All right, taking a look at the seats. The seats are very comfortable. They're very supportive. They're not as aggressively bolstered as a Corvette, but this is more of a luxury touring car. It does have perforated seats, perforated leather panels in the seats, rather. And one thing before going inside to note, this is the sensors here for your ultrasonic parking sensors here. Their readouts show how close you are to your object. And just like in the Pontiac Solstice and the Saturn Sky, you have this waterfall section that folds down. It does feature 2 levels of cubby storage. And of course the center armrest, which we'll show again. Alrighty, now that we're inside the XLR, let's take a quick look around. We're going to show all the details. Magna-Steer steering. As stated before, it is a leather-wrapped steering wheel with the eucalyptus wood on top. And it does have multifunction controls here. You do have your voice controls here. You can select your radio source. And this is for your distance control for your radar cruise control, which this car does have. So you can increase and decrease the gap. And then over here, we have our stereo control, so volume control and our favorite selections. Now over here, we do have a multifunction control, very similar to GM vehicles. Cruise controls here, off, on, set button on the end, and then of course accelerate here. Automatic headlamp control and fog lamp control, and of course it does operate your flash to pass, brights, and your turn signals. And then over on the right hand side is your wiper washer control. As you can see down there, that is your push button start, very similar to the C6 Corvette. Alright, front and center, in front of the driver, sits an impressive array of gauges, beautifully crafted by the Italian designer Bulgari. Over here, we do have oil pressure, coolant temperature, a 7,000 RPM tach with a 6,500 RPM red line, and a 160 mile per hour primary speedometer. Down below, we do have a digital readout with the various trip computer controls. And then over on the far right, we have our voltmeter and our fuel level. This panel of buttons here actually controls your LCD display. Alrighty, going over the top of the dash, as you can see, that soft touch vinyl leather material continues all the way across the dash. The dash is actually in very, very nice shape. It hasn't warped or peeled or cracked. Anodized aluminum down the center trim here. It is actually aluminum. You have 2 air vents with your hazard flashers. This vehicle is equipped with an LCD touchscreen display. It does feature guidance for navigation. And we've also got the optional SiriusXM satellite radio feature. It does read map DVDs, so opening this here tilts the screen out of the way and reveals the DVD slot for your map disc. It is probably out of date by now since it's dated 2003, but it just loads in here. And then the screen tilts back into place where it'll start reading the DVD. Moving down, we have a single slot CD player here, and moving the shift lever out of the way. Dual zone electronic automatic climate control. We also have heated seats here for the driver and passenger. Dual climates here, single zone fan, and panel distribution, however. You also just select auto and your AC off. Moving down, more eucalyptus trim and anodized aluminum on the center console. This is a pretty wide console here. This panel opens up to reveal a cigarette lighter and 2 cup holders, your top control switch, passenger airbag indicator, and to reset your tire pressure. In the center is your padded armrest. It is leather, French stitched on both sides. It opens up to reveal a nice amount of storage. You have a small ash receiver here. As you can see here, it is illuminated, and it has a 12-volt power point inside. And as shown before, that is your cubby storage here. Overall, the interior of the XLR is a very, very nice place to be. It's a very quiet, comfortable area. I find it to be a lot better than the Corvette, if you ask me. Alright, overhead we have an automatic dimming rearview mirror. It does feature OnStar capabilities. And of course, we have our reading lights. On the driver's side sun visor, 3-channel HomeLink universal garage door opener. Sun visors do fold down. They reveal illuminated vanity mirrors. And of course they swing out, but they do not slide out on the rails. Alright, there are actually 3 ways to open the trunk in the XLR. First way is by pressing the trunk release button here on the lower driver instrument panel. The second way is right underneath the wreath and crest. There's actually a membrane switch right above the license plate. You can press that and that trunk will open up that way. Or the third way, you can just use the key fob. And the trunk is hydraulically actuated. It is power opening and closing, as you can see. And because we have the top down, as you can see, the top actually does take up an enormous amount of your trunk space. However, the top does fold neatly in place in here. And you still do have a small amount of storage space here due to the fact that we have this cargo divider in place, which is required for the top operation. As you can see, it is illuminated on both sides. And you have your fuel cutoff here. You do have a small, deep storage well here on the right-hand side. Nothing over on the left-hand side, however. Now, with the top up, the trunk space is much more plentiful. Alright, and here's the trunk with the top up. As you can see, your cargo volume increases. To gain most access to it, we'll just pull this cover out of the way, let it fall flat on the floor. And here is the cargo area with the top up. So if you're traveling, it's best to have the top up with the AC on, have all your luggage in the back, and then unload and then drive with the top down when you get to your destination. And if you want to close the trunk, just press this close button here. Alrighty, and that does conclude our in-depth walk-around look at the 2004 Cadillac XLR. We hope you found the review informative, and if you did, please comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/neighborhoodcarreviews and our Instagram channel at BrentsOJ1. And of course, as always, Thanks for watching.